Well, hello there, motherfuckers. So I talked about this in my Raw review a little bit. I just wanted to talk about it a little bit more. Uh, no, I don't think there will be a Clash of Champions review because the thing is, it's like I'm not saying this is my last pay-per-view review, but it's like, uh, the Backlash was my last pay-per-view review. But the thing is, I said I was watching this show. I fell asleep during it, not because this show was boring or anything, because I was tired from work. In all honesty, as much as the jokes I usually like to make, I fell asleep during the show, guys. It was boring because it was like it's not that it was a bad show, but I wasn't being entertained by it. And I always usually have the same complaint. I have no reason to care. I already watched 3 matches and I didn't care. Gallows and Anderson, they lost again. They started off. Okay, here's my mini review, all right, for the 3 matches I saw. Gallows and Anderson lose to the New Day for the fucking 53rd time. They're going to lose to them again on Raw the next night. They already know this. They're not going to beat them. They're never going to beat them. Yeah, we get it. So if they're never going to beat them, why do we keep having the match? There's no other credible tag teams. Okay, well, Gallows and Anderson are not a credible tag team either. They haven't been a credible tag team since they walked through the doors at WWE. So what is the point of keeping on having this match? Move on to another team. It's the same thing. They're all not credible. You know what I'm saying? Don't have a tag division at all. The fact that New Day has the belts for this long is fucking mind-numbing. It's boring. It's an old, tired act. They do the same thing. Francesco Horns, the same fucking thing over and over. It's tiresome. It's boring. I don't like it. TJ Perkins defeated Brian Kendrick. TJ Perkins, I talked about this in my Raw review. The guy's face just annoys me. That's not knocking him or anything, but I have no reason. TJ Perkins won the tournament. Who is he? What's he all about? He does high flying moves. He wrestles a Japanese style. Okay. So does everybody else. Seth Rollins wrestles practically a Japanese style. Sami Zayn does as well. It's like this is nothing new. This division doesn't really serve a purpose because we've been wrestling this style now for a couple of years already, especially this year. We just had Finn Balor, who was injured. It's wrestling the same exact style. It's not exciting. It's not new. It's not refreshing. These are not the days of Rey Mysterio, Psychosis, and Juventud Guerrera. I've said this 1,000 times. They think they're going to recapture the magic of the WCW Cruiserweight division. They tried this already. And in fact, the very watered down version of the Cruiserweight division that was in WWE was better. Characters like the Hurricane and Jamie Noble were 10 times more entertaining than these motherfuckers. Now, I like Brian Kendrick. In fact, when he got released, I was a big fan of the Brian Kendrick. When he had Ezekiel Jackson with him, I was like ready to take this guy seriously. And I genuinely like Brian Kendrick. I like the guy's finisher. I like his look. I think that I liked him when he was with. I was pulling for that team back in the day. Back when you had Kendrick and London as a tag team, you didn't really see two smaller guys, in the tag division, and it was pretty exciting at the time. So I liked that team. I liked Kendrick in London. I liked Brian Kendrick when they were going to put him on his own. So I had no problem with that. I had no problem with Brian Kendrick. The thing is, but TJ Perkins, I just don't care about him. He wrestled in Japan. He wrestled as Manic. Okay, like I said, everybody's wrestled in Japan. Now it's not finding excuses not to like this match, but it's like, I really don't care. All right, so you won some lousy fucking Cruiserweight Classic. All right. Why are we excited for this? Like, who the fuck are you? You know what I'm saying? We haven't been given a reason to care. They throw you out on pay-per-view. You have a match. Okay, it looks like the 20 other matches we fucking saw in the Cruiserweight Classic. Then I'll move on to Cesaro and Sheamus. Good physical match. No winner, no nothing. They make us sit through 6 televised or network broadcast matches. and they don't even have the decency to give us a finish. Does anybody end up with a world title match like they were promised at the beginning of this series? No, they end up in a tag team. So I am like fucking sick of getting my intelligence insulted with all these fucking matches. You know, I'm like fucking sick. Every single pay-per-view, I'm saying the same thing. Well, the guys worked really hard in the match, but I didn't really like it because the story was not there and it didn't give me a reason. It's the same story every pay-per-view! Basically, I could sum up all the reviews I've ever done on this channel. I mean, some of the matches have been lousy, and some of the pay-per-views just had shitty match quality. But I'm saying, like, I've already done a whole bunch of pay-per-view reviews like this of Backlash and everything else. Here we go. We have a pay-per-view. I'm not excited about it. And I say this 20 fucking times in a row. I am sick of it. So it's like, then I fast forward. I want to see if this pay-per-view is as long as it claims to be. 3 hours and 7 minutes. 3 hours and fucking 7 minutes. And I go and I fast forward, and the Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins match is going on for like 30, 40 fucking minutes. I thought that other part, I thought the show was going to end around the 2.5 hour mark. But it keeps going. This isn't even a major pay-per-view. WrestleMania is like fucking 5 hours now. Remember when it was a big thing when fucking they moved the pay-per-view up? It was originally going to be 3 hours for pay-per-views. Then I remember starting with WrestleMania 17, they brought up the 4-hour pay-per-view. And I was like, okay, because that show is fucking awesome. Now, WrestleMania's 5 hours, and on the pre-show, it's 6 fucking hours. And now SummerSlam is 4 hours. And now, these the thing was, the 3-hour pay-per-view never went 3 hours. It would always be like 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 40 minutes. This, not only is it 3 hours, but it goes past. It's even longer. If the 3 hours of Raw, 2 hours of SmackDown, I mean, I watch the YouTube clips now. I don't even watch the whole shows. It's too much. It's too fucking much. I'm not sitting there to watch a minor pay-per-view Clash of Champions. They don't even have the decency to explain that this was a WCW supercard back in the day and that it has a lot of lineage behind it. Clash of Champions, Sting versus Ric Flair. We don't even talk about that. We don't even talk about why we should care that this pay-per-view is called Clash of Champions. It might as well be called Dick Up the Ass, because that's exactly what I feel like when watching this pay-per-view. I don't feel like it's a classic WCW supercard. I feel like it's a fucking dick getting impaled into my fucking ass. Alright? So yeah, so I don't think there will be a full-on Clash of Champions review. I'm sorry to my loyal subs, but there's your mini review. There you go. That's how I felt about it. I don't feel like watching 3 hours and 7 minutes of fucking poorly put together, poorly planned, poorly booked bullshit. Alright? I'm sorry. But that is how I feel. And I'm sorry, but the fucking YWC champion, YWC champion has spoken. And that's how I feel about Clash of Champions. Not worth it. Never gonna be worth it. Fuck this pay-per-view. Fuck it. It is a disgrace. A disgrace. It's such a poorly put together, poorly booked show. Poorly thought out show. Is even bearing the name of a WCW classic supercard. There you go, motherfuckers. Have a nice fucking day.